You are listening to WCOM LP Chapel Hill and Carborough 103.5 FM. I am Richard Brown, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the show today. And so the show's going to be a little different. We're going to kind of just play it by ear, see how we can get things together, and then move forward from there. There has been some changes. Some of you all will be able to notice them quickly, and we're just going to have to try to pull it together. So first, let's make sure that you know a little bit about the station. WCOM has moved to a new location, and it is very, very awesome. Lots of people have done a ton of work to make this get together, and it's very, very cool. It has a very good vibe to it, and from a technical standpoint, things are much, much better too. So I want to thank all the people who have made that happen. Jock, Leo, just been multiple people who've made that happen. From the Richard Brown Show standpoint, there's also been changes. Some of the things that I've been doing and how I've been doing it has been changing as well. So and I've been talking about for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I've been talking about there's going to be some upcoming changes as well, and I think now is a good time to really get into those, at least while I have a couple of moments, to see if my guests can make it in. On tap today, Curtis Gatewood is supposed to be here in our studio with us, but at this moment he hasn't gotten here yet, but I trust that he will make it in a timely fashion. But I wanted to talk about some of the announcements that I've been mentioning them, but I haven't necessarily gone full out and talked about them. So one of them is this idea of let me take a step back. Let me talk a little bit about what the Richard Brown Show is about, or how I perceive it. And when I started doing the show here at WCOM about 4 years ago, approximately 4 years ago, what I wanted to do was create a space where we could have a positive conversations around African Americans. I've had any number of guests come on. I've had politicians, I've had artists, I've had writers, I've had people who've worked in the medical field. I've just had a host of different people, people who just had any number of walks of life have come in and talked to me about who they are, what they do, and things of that nature. One of the reasons why I have been very, very adamant about that's part of what the Richard Brown Show is about is I feel like there are some very unproductive paradigms that we have latched onto and held on to. And so what I wanted to do is try to expand that and have that not be the only paradigm that people, when they think about it, they have that that cringe moment. So I wanted to do that, and I think that I have accomplished that with the breadth of the different guests that have come on and the types of things that I've talked about in the interim. Some of the main ideas that I continue to go back and forth on, of course, is having a set of goals. Number 2, doing a lot of dreaming, expanding your what you believe is possible. There are multiple things that I've kind of continued to go back and forth on, and these general themes have given me a better sense about what it is that I need to do. Okay? So in doing all of that, I've come to the conclusion that I need to continue to expand what it means to have this show. So one of the things I've done is, if you've had a chance or haven't had a chance to go to the website, richardbrownshow.com, you'll find that the things look a little different, and I'm expanding the things that you can actually do on the show. One of the things that I want to add to is like a blog, or like a discussion, maybe not a blog, but more like a discussion board. And so that's something that you should see coming up in a little bit. You'll also find that not all the past shows, but the recent past shows are up on the website. And if you want to get to them, then you can do that. That won't be a problem at all. And you can, of course, connect with me. Something new that I've just put up there in the recent days is a phone number where you can reach me when I'm not here on the air. You can still reach me through this phone number that's on the website. And so that's new. I'm trying to find a way to communicate in a more 24-hour way with you, whether you have questions, whether you have comments, whether you have ideas that you think that I need to be focused on. I want to put all those pieces in place. So that's new and I think helpful. The big thing is that I have started. So I've been thinking about it as creating new space, expanding space. And what I have now, and I'm kind of tweaking that a little bit, and now what I'm moving towards is this idea of finding partners who are also interested in tweaking space. And so I have partnered with a couple of people, and we are working on a couple of projects that you should see come online within the next 6 months to the end of the year. And these projects will be kind of an augmentation of what I have been doing right here. And so, for example, I have been reaching out to people and saying, hey, I'm here, this is what I'm doing. If you want to be a part, or if you want to find a way to work together, then I am very, very excited and very, very willing to think about how we might do that. So one of the things that I have been not contemplating but working on is an affirmation CD. I've mentioned it very briefly, but I think it's time now to use it as to really talk about it in such a way to couch it within the expansion of space, the expansion of this particular space, the expansion of what you believe is possible, what you can go out there and do, and what you can accomplish. At the beginning of the year, for the 4 or 5 years that I've been on the show, I have always done what I would call like a goal show. You know, what are your goals for the year? What are the goals for the next 6 months? What are your goals, what do you want to change? How do you see yourself changing? What do you need to change? And how is that going to happen? How are you actually going to make that happen? And one of the things that I realized is that sometimes you need outside help. And so I've had guests who've come on who've done different things, from meditation to small business. Katie came on about 4 weeks ago and talked about that. Like maybe you need help in small business, maybe you need help in, improving your food. Timothy Kozar came on a couple of weeks ago to talk about improving, thinking in a more intentional way about how you work with your food, how you engage your food. So I feel like I've had multiple guests that come on in order to help you say, okay, what are those areas that I need help with? And what I'm finding is that a lot of people are needing help with some of those first steps. And for me, some of those first steps are the motivation to get started. And that is a very, very hard thing